That real shit, that real shit, that real shit, that real shit, that real
yes,
shit,
that real shit,
that real shit, that real shit,
that real shit,
that real shit, that real shit, sports talk. That real shit, that real shit,
that real shit,
that real shit, that real
yes,
shit,
that real shit,
that real shit, that real shit,
that real shit,
that real shit, that real shit, sports talk.
What up, y'all? Coach Smith, aka Mr. Get You Right up in this motherfucker, man. I want to welcome everybody to the 14th episode of That Real Shit Sports Talk. Big shout out to my 2 brand new subscribers, man. I really appreciate y'all fucking with me. And a really big shout out to Awful Workplaces. I'm gonna repeat that. Awful Workplaces. Shout out to him, man. He subscribed to the channel. He liked my last video and he won my first cash prize. I did a little live post on YouTube this week and he responded to the post, followed the rules, and I shot him some cash. So big shout out to Awful Workplaces, man. I appreciate your participation and I appreciate your subscription, man. I appreciate that shit. Real talk. Let's get into this episode. So I gotta speak on these refs real quick, man. These NFL refs. A couple episodes I spoke about how soft I feel football is getting. But that Monday night game last night, either they're trying to change the game completely to being soft, or the fix was in, homie. The fix was in. And I'm kind of leaning towards the fix being in, because the NFL wanted the Packers to win that game, homie. And if you watch that shit from start to finish, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of them calls, man, if I was a player, me and the ref might have to go hands for real. I think most of us saw the Trey Flowers play, the 2 Trey Flowers plays where he's engaged with Bakhtiari. I think he's engaged with the offensive lineman and he's got him by the shoulder pad. So whether Trey Flowers is just that strong or Bakhtiari was flopping, you know what I mean, playing along with it. Trey Flowers has his shoulder pad engaged. Bakhtiari has his head back. So it looks like he's engaged with the face and or helmet or face mask, but he's not. And they called that shit twice. And yes, we have the benefit of replay. I will always say that and continue to say that. When we're at home watching these games, we have the benefit of seeing it in slow motion. We have the benefit of seeing replays. The refs on the field don't have that advantage. So I don't want to in any way undervalue the job that they're doing, because it's not easy. But the shit happened twice. Both times Flowers' hand is engaged with the shoulder pad. It's not in his face mask. It's not in his neck. It's not on his face. So for them to call that the same call consecutively, I know it wasn't on consecutive plays, but for them to make the same call in consecutive situations, to me showed that the fix was in. The Packers played like shit. I picked the Packers to win the North. If you watched a few episodes ago, I picked the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC North. The Lions looked for real, homie. The Lions played better than the Packers for most of the game. I know some people will say, you got in the red zone and had to kick field goals. That's just how the game goes sometimes. Sometimes both teams are good. Sometimes both defenses are good. But through all that, they played a good game. They didn't play their best game, but the Packers played like shit, homie. The Packers played like shit. The NFL seen it, made a buzz down to the field, and told that reffing staff to start changing some shit. Those calls were blatant, man. The Packers had turnovers. The Packers had bad plays. They had bad blocking. They should have lost that game. And those 2 calls at the end cost them the game. I'm just gonna say it. Now I heard on the radio this morning they were talking about the New Orleans game, the New Orleans Rams game, and how replaying pass interferences and shit like that is a good thing because of that one play, you know. But I think in that game, the Saints still had a chance to win. In this game, the Lions weren't given a chance to win. The Packers were able to run the clock out, kick the field goal, and win. The refs know that shit. The refs know that shit. The NFL knows that shit. And yeah, the Packers had a great. I think that last drive was 9 minutes, 8 or 9 minutes, and the penalties helped, homie. So you know what I mean. You got to give credit to the Packers for pulling it out, but the Lions should have won that fucking game, man, for real. And the refs making blatant bad calls like this ain't gonna fly. There was a bang play where I think his name was Tracy Walker. He's one of the DBs, number 21 for the Lions. Now hold on, before I even go to that shit, the rules in the NFL have changed. I am fully aware of this. So people that are gonna disagree with me when I make this statement, they're gonna go to the rules and the rule changes. I understand the rule changes. I'm aware of the rule changes. I just don't agree with the rule changes. I don't think the rule changes make the game safer in the short term. It might in the long term. So I'll give you that. But in the first half of games, guys are gonna test things out. Guys are gonna test to see what they can get away with. This play yesterday in the second half with Tracy Walker, I don't think he was testing out anything. I think he was trying to make an interception. He was going to make an interception because both players have equal rights to the ball, and their heads collided at that point. He was not maliciously trying to take out Geronimo Allen. He was not trying to hit him like that. He was not trying to hit him in the head. He was trying to make an interception. He was trying to make a play on the ball. And I really think this is what people who've never played, who've never suited up before, don't get. They don't understand how the velocity you coming in with cannot be changed in a split second. Now, again, I know people are going to say, well, he should just back off then. But when you got instincts, you can't back off in all situations. Some situations, yes, you have that extra split second to think about the shit and back off, not engage. But for I'd say a lot, if not most plays, most bang football plays, you don't have that time to think. You just react and engage, homie. And for this instance, he got flagged. It was another bad, not a bad call, because it was a good call according to the new rules, but he got flagged for it. Based on the rule, it kind of seems like they based the rule off the player having intention on hitting that dude in the head. And Tracy Walker last night did not have intentions on hitting Geronimo Allison in the head. He was trying to make an interception and their heads collided, and he gets flagged for it. And I think that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're taking away a reactionary element of the game that obviously benefits the offense, and in this case benefited the Packers like a motherfucker. I watched the Cowboys and Jets game. I watched the second half of the game. I didn't watch the whole game, but I caught the second half of the Cowboys Jets game. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that last drive, Dallas had the ball inside of the 2-minute warning. I can remember now. I think Dallas had two of them, so it wasn't just one way. But I think in the inside 2 minutes of that Dallas Cowboy Jets game, there were 6 flags on 6 consecutive plays. Like I said, inside 2 minutes, the refs threw 6 flags on 6 straight plays. Let these motherfuckers play, man. I don't want to see babysitting, especially inside the 2-minute warning. I want to see them going at it. Let them play. Now, I know it's early in the season and they may be trying to set precedent and all that shit, but there's only 16 games. There's only 16 regular season games that most of these players get to play in and that the fans get to enjoy before playoffs, because not every team is going to make the playoffs. So the refs got to cool out, man. Some refs, and it ain't just football, some refs in sports in general love the attention, love making a game about them. If they have that, they do have that power. They do have that power to shut a player up. You know what I mean? With a yellow flag. And some refs stick to the code. Some refs take advantage of that shit, man. And I hate to say it because I love the game, I love sports, but the Packers and Cowboys game this weekend, the fix was in, homie. The fix was in something serious. And whether the refs had money on the game or the NFL already has determined who the Super Bowl winner is going to be, the fix was in, and them calls were fluky and made no sense and benefited the popular teams in both games. So say what you want, but the Packers and Cowboys are both NFL elites if you look at history. And to me, it's no shock that they got the benefit. They got the benefit calls in these situations. The Cowboys still took an L though, but we're gonna move on. I want to speak on a little bit more of this NBA China situation, man. I dug a little deeper, and just obviously, I'm sure a lot of sports fans have heard some of the recent comments that have come out in the past week or two, from Daryl Morey, Silver, LeBron, James Harden. Not a lot, but a few NBA faces have spoke on the NBA China issue. So again, a lot of the information last week was new to me. So curious minds engage, and I had to seek out more information about this shit, dog, because this shit is kind of crazy to me. I'm reading off my little note paper, so y'all gotta excuse me for looking back and forth, but I want to share a few numbers with you, and then just share my opinions, and probably wrap the episode up on that note. But the major broadcasting company in China, I think 4 or 5 years ago, paid the NBA $500 million for broadcasting rights. Huge number. Last year, that $500 million number was renewed in a new contract. That $500 million went to $1.5 billion. So China paid the NBA $1.5 billion. The article that I read this morning said that when that initial $500 million broadcasting contract was signed, that's when the Supermax deals in the NBA started. And I as an NBA fan, I can remember saying like, damn, these niggas is getting breaded all of a sudden. Like $200 million. John, I don't think John Wall got 200, but John Wall got way more than what he deserved, homie. That contract more than anybody stuck out to me. Like, how the fuck can they pay this nigga this kind of bread? These China deals are how. Few more numbers. I spoke on how the NBA finals were viewed more in China than the NBA. I needed to see some numbers on that. So the numbers say last year, Golden State and Toronto, which I think in the United States was the lowest rated NBA finals in history. 20.4 million people in the United States watched the NBA finals last year. 20.4 million. In China, 25 million even people, not even number, but 25 million, no decimal point. 25 million people watched the NBA finals in China. 25 million people. Now I don't know what the regular season viewership numbers look like, but if that's an indication, the NBA is a Chinese league. I've spoke about it. I spoke about it in reference to the college sports, and definitely in the NFL. These teams, these universities make their money from the TV broadcasting companies, from the TV stations, the cable companies. That's how they make their real money. So the fact that the NBA has a bigger viewership in China than they do in the United States is alarming. Not alarming, but shit, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know the NBA was popping in China like that. Done with numbers. Before David Stern, I don't remember if he resigned or just retired, but before David Stern, the old commissioner of the NBA, retired, let's just say he retired, apparently he made a deal with the China representatives that in order to get some of this money, they were going to own the present, past, and future trademarks of the NBA. So based on that, China owns all old NBA footage, all partnerships, all kinds of shit. Like David Stern signed over the rights of the NBA to China. All of its purchasing rights to China. Which again, that's nuts to me. I got to touch on just China a little bit before I get up out of here. So like I spoke on last week, China is a communist country. If you don't know what that means, some of the young dudes out there, a communist country is a country that is, like I said, very rigid in their beliefs. I read this morning that they cannot question authority at all in a public setting. In a lot of parts of China, social media is banned. YouTube is banned in China. You can't even watch YouTube in China. Can't go on Facebook, can't go on Instagram, none of that shit. In some of the smaller parts of China, you can't smile, homie. So when we speak on democracy, when people speak on democracy, they joke and say, oh, you know, the United States is communist in its ways. Like, sure, but it ain't. We're not that rigid. So China don't be fucking around with their people. What I read is that the people that are fighting for their freedom are Muslims, Chinese people of Chinese descent with Muslim beliefs. It's a small percentage of them that live in the country, but what the government of China is trying to do is, quote unquote, stop extreme beliefs. They have thought transformation camps for these Chinese Muslims, which thought transformation camps. You can think about that in whatever way you want to, but to me that sounds like brainwashing. And like I said, it's basically built to prevent the spread of extreme beliefs, which is crazy. So I want to sum all this up. I spoke on all that about China just to say the NBA has done a deal with a country who has these beliefs. Although we're a country that prides itself in democracy, the NBA has done business with a country that couldn't disagree more. Excuse me. So it's just crazy. It's crazy to find out some of this new information. LeBron came out, I think a day or two ago, and spoke on. He finally spoke on Morey's comments, the GM from the Rockets, and he called Morey's comments uneducated and some other shit. I don't really want to go into detail about that, but I heard some shit this morning that I hadn't even thought about. I forgot all about Rondo spitting on Chris Paul last year and that fight that happened between the Lakers and the Rockets. Theory is Morey sent that tweet out as a kind of a jab to the Lakers. Like, don't fuck with us. You fucked with us, so now we're gonna fuck with you. Now I'm gonna fuck with you. Like I said last week, it was kind of a bitch move to me by Morey to tweet that shit out, and I didn't even know he wasn't even in China. So it was kind of a bitch move for him to tweet that out. But there may have been something else to that we may not be aware of. Just pure saltiness. So I think LeBron is a Nike guru. He's the face of Nike. He's the face of the NBA. So he can't speak extremely either way. He has to try his best to stay neutral. And whether you agree with that or not, it's funny to me, the people that are really knocking LeBron about this. I'm not, because I kind of get his position, kind of like Kevin Hart's position with that gay stuff he dealt with not too long ago. When you're in power like LeBron is, you kind of got to massage both sides, and just learning about how much influence the NBA or China has over the NBA, I understand why he's trying to stay neutral and not ruffle any feathers on the Chinese side of things. So again, like I said last week, it's going to be interesting to see how this shit plays out. And more importantly to me, I think it's just good for me to be aware of the presence China has. I mean, we all know about Yao Ming and shit, but I had no idea. I read this morning that LeBron, Kobe, KD, they all go to China every year. You know what I mean? And I think I've seen footage on that shit before, but there's a reason. It's not just for Nike. It's not just for shoes. It's for the whole league. It's for the whole league, and you know, it's for the whole league's existence, really, because who knows what kind of numbers and contracts they would have if they didn't have a partnership with China. So you know, it's kind of a lose-lose situation for the NBA right now, and not I don't think they're gonna lose any viewership, fans, because most of the people I hear criticizing the NBA and LeBron don't watch NBA hoops anyways, so they're not gonna lose any viewers. But it's just interesting to see how politics are starting to fall into sports too much for my liking. So I'm gonna wrap it up on that note, though, man. Keep this episode, hopefully less than 25 minutes. I appreciate everybody for staying tuned. If you don't mind, please hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and share this to Facebook for your boy. And be on the lookout for that 15th episode, man. That Real Shit Sports Talk. Catch y'all next time.